Welcome, everybody, to Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I'm the NFL Genius, Gene Walls. Like in the upper left corner, we got Kent State's own, Cleveland's own, College Cuttrell.
Gentlemen, how we feeling? I'm feeling good, man. We got a little taste of some NFL action with the draft. Cavs play tonight. Get to see the GOAT play tonight. Like I'm hoping you guys are sharing the excitement for today's show.
I'm fired up. I'm EA Sports. I'm in the game. We got to talk about a lot of stuff tonight. So it's an action-packed show. In the upper right corner, we got Scholastic Shally, Uncle Shally, Billy Shallcross.
Gentlemen. It's horse racing season. It's golf season. It's getting exciting for me.
I mean,
all my obscure sports are coming out. What?
That's what we're excited about right now.
Listen, I get into the obscure stuff, bro. You know this.
Ponies and putts. That's Bill.
I've been watching a lot of NBA, a lot of NHL. We don't talk about NHL. I mean, NBA's been great so far, but
the Fire blows 3-0 lead, bro. If they blow this 3-0 lead, I swear to God, bro. I don't want to say I snuck back in. I was watching a little bit, but if they blow a 3-0 lead, what the fuck, bro? You just want to crush my soul every time I join. Every time I join, you just want to go.
I think they'll win tonight, take care of business, but
they better. They don't win tonight. It's
getting a little dicey.
What up, Control? What do we got tonight for Hot Wire?
All right. Well, I'll keep it in the spirit of the Philly talks here. We'll go to the bank. Where there's a new head guy. Rob Thompson has been relieved of his duties, but he was not the only coach this past week relieved of his duties. The Red Sox manager, Alex Cora, and 5 of his assistants were also relieved of their duties. So, gentlemen, there's absolutely no way we were going to not start off the show here with this. I know you guys have been underwhelmed with the Phillies so far at the starts of this season here, and it seemed like that the panic button hadn't been pushed yet a couple weeks ago, and we briefly talked about it. So what are your thoughts on the Phillies ultimately deciding to make this decision? And then the second part of my question would be, I don't know if you saw, but the rumor was that they had actually asked Alex Cora to join the Phillies, and he had declined to spend time with his family. So what are your thoughts on that, how everything transpired there with that?
Go ahead, brother.
Listen, I mean, me and Gene can attest to this more than a lot. We're used to this team getting off to slow starts, okay? But this was way different than that. This team usually hovers around 500 till around Memorial Day, and then it warms up and they start hitting, and then they go on one of these runs. This 9-19 stuff, though, that was new for this year. I think it's a move that had to be made just for the sheer fact, I think, to shake things up and kind of let these players, know to get their heads out of their asses. I don't think he was doing anything different this year than he was the last couple of years. I think the players are playing like shit, if we're being honest. And I think, when that happens, you can't fire you can't fire all the players. The coach takes the guillotine for him. So, I heard Bryce Harper's press conference, and he pretty much came out and said as much. But hiring down in baseball, we'll see. Different voice leads to different results, but I think this team is so veteran-led and so experienced. I don't think it matters who coaches them per se. They need to get their heads out of their asses and start playing and start hitting. And if they do, I think they'll be fine. But it's up to them. I don't think it's a managerial thing. So I was never a huge Topper guy. I think he has a really, I would say, lack of feel for the pitching staff, especially when to leave guys in, take them out. what pieces to use in the bullpen. But I mean, overall, I think he did a good job for being a guy that kind of got the job out of nowhere, kind of a no-name guy. But that is the life of a sports manager. That's nothing new breaking the bank or anything here with the Phillies. It's just something that had to be done.
Just Bill, just wondering, out of all the everyday starters, who would you say is playing the worst?
I mean, compared to what they should be doing, or just overall worst?
I don't care what you say. There's literally one answer.
I mean, I think if you're the guy, I think you probably have to look at Bryce.
Oh God, you're so lost. It's unbelievable. All right, so just to be clear, Bryce Harper's batting .270 with 6 home runs, 19 RBIs. He leads the team in RBIs.
That's not hard to do.
What?
That's not hard to do right now.
Well, 19. Well, I'm asking you who's playing the worst on the team, and you gave me the guy that's got the third best batting average, the second most home runs, and the most RBIs on the team.
It's all in the last week and a half. But, I mean, listen, you can go down the line. I mean, Stott's actually playing okay. Marsh has been playing great. And then you go down, then you get into the bunch where none of them are playing good. You have Bohm, you have Schwarber. Crawford's been good up until the last week and a half, but I mean, that was to be expected. Starting pitching hasn't been good. I mean, there's a whole list of things.
One guy's had 102 at bats and has 22 total bases. I batting 157 with a negative WAR. Can we get fucking rid of Alec Bohm? He fucking stinks. I've said it for 3 years. The guy fucking stinks.
And every year you say he hits 285 with 80 home runs or 80 RBIs. That doesn't stink. Doesn't stink.
Bro.
Everybody was clamoring for Alex Bregman. He outplayed him last year for $32 million less dollars. Like, it's fucking stupid. He's not Nolan Arenado. He's not going to hit 40 home runs a year. It's not what he does. Get over it.
He didn't do anything well.
He just hits 285 and knocks in 75 to 80 runs every year. That doesn't grow on a tree. It just doesn't. And you're paying him $3 million to do so.
When you bat fourth behind Turner, Schwarber, and Harper, you're going to have a couple RBIs. You have a couple. Control, let me ask you a question.
Nicky couldn't get it done. We paid Nicky $30 million. He couldn't do it. JT was the best catcher in baseball for years. He couldn't do it.
He's like 50
now. Okay, but when he started here, he wasn't.
Who's the worst player on the Phillies
right now? Worst player.
I mean,
Let's go by stats. Let's go by WAR. Who's got the worst wins versus replacement?
I don't know. I'm sure you're going to enlighten me here. I'm worried about one team right now this early in the season. So, I don't know what's going on in Philadelphia.
It'd be Alpha. I'm not saying he's the only issue on the team. I just can't stand him. And I've been clamoring for them to get rid of him for years. And every year he proves me more and more right. But whatever. We'll see. I like their rotation. Wheeler looked good in his first start back. That's a positive. You have Sanchez, Wheeler, Luzardo, Painters look good. They finally got rid of that trash can of Taijuan Walker. He's no longer on the roster. Love that.
Yeah, I mean, they really had no choice. I did see one of his starts where he got absolutely obliterated.
What else is new? They were starting him in the second inning because you got to start games. Like, oh, we're going to have him start in the second inning. I'm like, this is embarrassing.
You would get one good start out of every 8 starts, and the other 7 would just look like batting practice. Like, he just stands there, he has a very relaxed motion as it is, but it was just that's a batting practice fastball. It was never, to Gene's point, if you watch one of his start to turn on in the second inning, they're probably down 4 or 5-0 every time. And it's not even they're hitting seeing eye singles. You sit there and watch, and it's barrel, 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 barrel. It's like watching a softball game.
I wish he was lying. Speaking of softball games, how have they been going for you, Bill?
How's what?
I said, speaking of softball games, how have they been going for you, Bill?
I haven't played a whole lot. Tournament team's doing well.
Just busting your balls. All right, but bro, what Boston did was even funnier. We're gonna talk. We talk about the Phillies. Boston fired Everett after like a 13-1 win.
Yep.
You guys could all go. Fuck it.
Boston thing is funny to me in that, I mean, listen, I think they had sky high expectations this year. We've talked about, Anthony and, what we think he will be. I think they thought he was going to come out of the gate and be, I don't know, Shohei Light or something. And with the rest of the pieces they've added, Ranger really hasn't been great. You put Crochet on the IL today with a sore / tired shoulder. That's never a good sign this early in the season. Pitching hasn't been good, and they're just not hitting. And again, they're playing in debatably the most competitive division in baseball. So, to Gene's point, they got rid of the subtle tactics with their situation, and they just came down after the game and said, all of you can pack your shit. You're all going. Which is, that's a big move, because that is to the, when you're clearing out a whole coaching staff, that's very unsettling to a locker room. Like, that is, okay, like, maybe you don't get along with a manager, but you get along really well with, like, the hitting coach, or you've guys in there that are probably really good, close with the pitching coach, like stuff like that. To come in and just clean house after a game, that is a bold move. That is sending a message loud and clear.
Ranger's been the best pitcher on their staff, just FYI.
Well, but again, that's not saying much.
3 ERA, less than a 1 WHIP. I mean, he's had 3 quality starts. He's been good. He had a bad start to start. That was his big problem, if we're being honest. But other than that, I really like what Ranger's done there. I think Ranger Suarez is definitely a miss. We should have kept Ranger and moved on from Luzardo. I've said that numerous times, but nothing against Luzardo. It's not. I know Luzardo's got great stuff, but to me, it was pretty evident who they should have kept.
I don't disagree, but that was a younger /
You're right.
Money.
It wasn't enough money.
Yep.
So I saw someone had said on Twitter, and again, I don't keep up with. Well, I haven't been keeping up with the Red Sox. Like I see them when, I see like highlights on ESPN and stuff like that, and like obviously we know what, for better or worse, we know Alex Cora's pedigree when it comes to winning and what he does to get the job done. But I saw there were a few Red Sox fans that were kind of upset from ultimately giving them the can here, and I saw one of them actually said it's like this is like when it'd be like shitting your pants and changing your shirt. And I was curious if this was something that you guys kind of saw there. I mean, obviously Alex Cora is a solid manager regardless of what you think about his extracurriculars in the game, because the Phillies were ready to hire him on the spot. I mean, I feel like the ink wasn't even dry yet on him signing his papers, getting out of the Boston there. So thoughts on that entire situation. Would you have wanted Cora? Do you think that's something that could happen maybe next season?
He's a good manager. I don't really care. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. I'll talk shit about any team that cheats. I'll talk shit about any team that cheats if they're not my team. But if we cheat and win, I'll fucking celebrate that shit. Look, Shally's played softball with me for a long, long time. Any advantage I can get in a game, I'll get.
That's not cheating, though.
You're right. I'll look for people jumping off the bag. I'll look for an umpire not looking at a bag and then sell them on the guy jumping off the bag early.
I think I don't know how that would have been received here. Only mainly because we already kind of had beef with Houston from before. That would have been interesting. I know Dombrowski's got it kind of goes way back with him and has a relationship with him, but I don't know. I don't know how that would have went. I'm not the biggest fan in the world of him. for obvious reasons. But I don't know. I mean, I get the shitting your pants and changing your shirt thing, but is the solution then just to keep shitting your pants? Like, I don't know. Like they're in the same boat as us. They're not playing well, you know, and then we don't have the luxury of you know, even the Phillies this year, we don't have the luxury of Atlanta not playing great because they're all banged up and everything. Like, we can't, you know, get into June and be 20 games back. Like that's not realistic at that point. Like Boston can't lose touch with the Yankees and everybody else in that division. Like, so I don't, you know, I get it. You're not blaming on the you don't want to blame the manager because the guys aren't playing well, but at the same time, you just can't leave it the status quo and keep watching the same shit. Like,
I'll blame it on the manager.
What?
I'll blame it on the manager.
You can blame the manager, but again, like I said, it's a lot of it. Baseball is definitely one of those things, man. Like, if you go out in the field, there's only so much strategic thing a manager can do. If the guys are going out and they're all in slumps and they're not hitting, like, okay, you can fire the hitting coach, but like, bring in a new hitting coach. It's not going to make Roman Anthony swing at a better pitch right away. Like, there's just so many little things that go into winning a baseball game. Like, the guys aren't playing well, then it's baseball is just one of those things that you have to ride out slumps. You got to ride out slumps just like you ride out hot streaks. Like, it's just part of the game, and that's why it's a grind. It's 162 games a year. Shit happens, but like I said, you fire an entire staff. That is, you know, I don't know if that's not a kick in the ass to the locker room, to the clubhouse. I don't know what is.
All right. Anything else on the managers before we move on to the next topic here?
No, sir. I'm good.
All right. So we're going to go over college football, and we're going down to Texas Tech here, and their newest acquisition at quarterback, Brendan Sorsby, has, you know, admitted himself into a gambling rehab following the news that he was betting on all types of sports. He was betting on his own team while he was at Indiana. He was betting balls and strikes while he was at Cincinnati Reds games, like, continuously. Sounds like he does have like a true problem here. And rumor has it that the NCAA is going to push for him to be ruled ineligible for this upcoming season here, which would effectively end his college career. Sports gambling and, you know, players getting involved in it seems to, you know, be the newest hot button topic here. So with Brendan Sorsby being the latest one here, you know, what are your guys' thoughts to his situation?
I think it's sad, bro. I know what that feels like. And look, I understand what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about him not playing again. He didn't even get caught. This is like him, like, putting himself into his own rehab because he realized he had a problem. I think it's sad. I mean, you got a guy that's got all the talent in the world, and he just can't stop doing it. And like those neuros that are in your brain, and I've been down this road before, you just keep going. Like, you want to stop and you can't even stop your hand. It's sad. And I think that there's a lot of things that we can look at. And look, dude, he effectively ended his football career, not just his college football career. He's not going to play pro. He might play in the UFL, but he effectively ended his career by checking himself in the rehab. Now, maybe he got caught and this was his way of, you know, saying I have a problem, but from everything I read, he didn't get caught. He realized he had a problem and he needed to fix it. So I'm not going to kick the kid's ass for that. I know how that feels. I beat myself up so many times. I've broken bottles. I've punched walls. I've tried everything I could to stop doing it. I couldn't. You're talking about a guy that's never done like real drugs in his life. I say real because, you know, everybody's kind of smoked it a little bit. But hey, listen, I'm calling it like it is. But never done like real drugs in their life. I couldn't stop. Took me hitting rock bottom.
So I mean, I think you know, a lot of what you said obviously is true. From the other side of it, this is going to be the example case. We've unfortunately dabbled in this with, you know, in other sports already. We have the ongoing ones going with the Major League Baseball already. You have the whole Shohei debacle from a couple years ago. You know,
I love how he's guilty. He's the only player in the history of sports that never is found guilty of anything, and that we just walk around and he's just guilty.
I mean,
like, I know it's far-fetched to believe that he's not guilty, but never got found guilty of anything.
Well, I mean, that's like saying Barry Bonds was never tested positive for steroids.
But he did test positive for steroids. It's different. He tested positive for different substances that were banned.
Well, never knowingly tested positive then.
Well, that's a whole, that's, yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing with Shohei, basically.
No, it's not.
It is. He's arguing that he didn't know and that his trainer was the one that was feeding it to him. And Shohei's arguing that his translator was the one that was.
Do you think there's a 1% chance that he didn't
know? For me, no.
No. You don't think there's a 1%? Like, you don't think there's any chance?
Bro,
so let me ask you a question. Would you consider me your friend?
What?
Would you consider me your friend?
Yes. I don't. What the hell? That's such a dumb question.
How much of my life do you think you know about?
Like, probably like, I don't know. Like that's a weird question.
That is a weird question.
I guess, but like, I don't know.
Like, I'll put it this way. I think I know a lot about what you want to be put out there and be known. I don't know all of it, but I know like a lot. Everybody has stuff that they don't share with everybody. That's human nature.
I just don't know if he knew. I'm not 100% sure he knew.
That's different. Like, me not knowing a secret you have is different than somebody not noticing $30 million missing, dude.
Bro, he might have like a financial advisor that manages his money.
And at that point, no, that guy never picked up the phone and was like, "Yo, bro, you're burning money. Like, where's this all going?"
That's a bigger problem.
Yeah, like, okay, so if you want to believe, let's be honest, Shohei's a financial guy. I think we can all agree on that. But you're telling me that financial guy never picked up the phone and told Shohei and was like, "Yo, your manager / interpreter is just is fucking sending money all over the globe at an historic pace." And Shohei was like, "What? Like, he didn't know? Like, come on, man. Like, you think that happened?"
I don't know it happened. I don't. That's the thing. Like, there's never, like, I feel like Major League Baseball would have done something.
No, see, that is where I disagree with you.
Why do you think that?
There is no way in hell, with the amount of money that guy generates and how good they could not have, like, that would almost be worse than him testing positive for steroids. There is no way they could let that happen. Like, if that guy takes the downfall and is, you know, a gambler, gets whatever, dude, that is crushing for baseball. Crushing. He's debatably
absolutely turned the blind eye to the whole steroid era. You're saying there's no way they would have suspended Shohei to keep everything rolling with what he's doing? I don't know.
When you say this organization that turned a blind eye, I just make it very clear this is not the same organization that turned a blind eye. That was totally different people.
No. I'm sorry. I'm not referring to the Dodgers. I'm just saying, like, MLB and like Major League Baseball in general there. Like, there's no way they didn't know those guys were juiced. Like, when all the home runs were popping off, the Sammy Maguire, you know, back and forth there, like, they knew what was happening behind the scenes there. It wasn't like there was just this big revelation after all those guys were done.
I don't know how you can look at Mark Maguire and not know he was on steroids.
That's the point.
I mean, all of them, bro. Like,
nah, but Mark was different.
Bro, Barry was different. Look at Barry Bonds even when he got to San Francisco, and then look at him 2 years later. He looked like Mark McGwire.
Right.
But back on topic though, Brendan.
Anyway, what the hell's the topic? All right. So listen, this is sad in the aspect. Gene nailed that part of it on the head. Like, this is a kid who obviously went and is seeking help and seeking treatment. But he's going to become the example. Like, he is going to become the warning case that, like, you do this, you get caught, like, this is what's going to happen. He's done. Like, they are absolutely going to drop the hammer on him. Like, they're going to roll him ineligible. He's going to lose his last year eligibility, and that'll be it. I don't know if he has any kind of shot of, I don't know if he'll be able to go to, technically, if he can go to the combine. I don't know how all that'll work. But
supplemental draft. That's what.
Yeah, but it'll be. He is absolutely going to be. I don't know if you want to call him a martyr, but he's going to be the example of what happens when you get caught. And the fact that he's already admitted that I think there's a chance he didn't bet on college football at all ever. There maybe have been like a crack in the door somewhere, but the fact that he already admitted to that, the NCAA is going to lay the hammer here and be like, if you get caught, then this is what's going to happen. So they're going to make an example out of him.
As they should. I'm not saying they shouldn't.
Yeah, I know, but part of it is he kind of built himself back up the last 2 years. Then he goes and gets a bunch of money and signs to go play at a team that had very big aspirations for next year. So that part of it's sad, and like you said, any kind of addiction in general is sad. So it's it's going to be interesting to watch. I'm sure he'll appeal it, but I would expect the NCAA to be pretty stern in what they hand down on this.
I agree, and I think the one part of it too that is kind of wild is that right now he's currently being sued from Cincinnati, and the reports are saying that Cincinnati found out about it in August of last year. So they found out pretty much like right before the season and basically let him play the entire way there. So I'm curious to know if now it's becoming a thing because he ultimately decided to go down to Texas Tech. Because if they had knew about it, then I mean, Cincinnati would absolutely be at fault here for letting him play and not, bringing up to the NCAA and things like that. So I do think that part of it's going to be interesting to see. And then with Sorensby here, him betting on games that he didn't play, obviously, I don't think that that's going to matter too much as far as his eligibility goes. But I do think if he has any glimmer of hope, it's going to be that, he didn't, negatively impact or, bet on things that he knew was going to happen because of his involvement in those games. But I don't think he's going to play again in college. I do think he's going to have a shot in the supplemental draft, though, to, go to a team and potentially be a practice squad guy or just kind of bide his time and things like that. I think he was a kid who was probably hoping you go down to Texas Tech and you have success there. I mean, they just had Baron Morton drafted on Saturday, and I thought he absolutely stunk. So
I don't know how he drafted.
Brendan Sorsby, I think, is
he tried out in the 6th round.
Yeah, Brendan Sorsby is a better player than what Baron Morton is. So I mean, I think just because the position's at a premium in the NFL, he'll have a shot. But this is one of those things, though, that's absolutely going to be a black eye for you moving forward there. But good for him for going the rehab route really before everything was fully announced there.
I'm done here. Let's move.
Awesome. Well, let's go to the last topic here, a little bit lighter here, but a guy who has routinely been on our list when we talk about the top 10 safeties in the NFL, at the time that he was playing there, and that's Mr. Justin Simmons. He is officially retired from the NFL there. He didn't play at all last season, but definitely was a guy who I wanted to bring up here because he was a guy who was four-time All-Pro, 2-time Pro Bowler there. And, I mean, just, again, with his play and how good he was while he was playing, like, I think he does have a shot to be on the All-Decade team, when when this decade is all wrapped up here. So curious on your guys' thoughts on Justin Simmons and his retirement here. And again, just kind of quick little topic here before we go ahead and go to the NFL side of things.
If he's on the all-decade team, that all-decade team is making a huge mistake. I'm not saying Justin Simmons isn't good, but, like, come on, bro. It's 2026 now. He didn't play last year. So you're talking about a guy that might have been a top 3 safety in the league for 3 or 4 years. I don't know. Not all-decade to me.
For me, I'm going to say, like, 2024, like, he was a guy who was a consistent all-pro there. I'm not saying I put him on there. I'm just saying, like, when those conversations happen, like, his name's going to get floated in there. I'm not saying he's going to be a bona fide guy on it, but somebody's going to say the name Justin Simmons in that room.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, good.
No, I think him overlapping 2 decades kind of hurts here. Like if he would have played, 2010 to 2022, like that would have been a different thing. But no, I mean, listen, he is one of the best safeties of the last 10 years. It's going to, like I said, you're going over 2 decades though. So I don't know. I've always been a big fan of him. I know we started list back in the day. I know he was definitely number 1 on my list one year. Very, very good player. Reading a little bit more about him today, actually, when it was announced, like crazy good human being. Walter Payton, Man of the Year award, I think he won 3 times. He won that 3 times. Really involved in the community, inner city stuff. Really, really good guy. Like I said, I always liked him. I mean, I thought he was a great safety. From his generation, he's definitely one of the best. But I mean, I don't know how far, I don't know how far we want to get carried away with it.
I mean, him not playing last year was him not willing to take a contract that was under what he felt like he was worth. I think that's part of the reason that he's retiring. I think the league was like, yeah, we don't value you as much as you value yourself. I think Justin Simmons is a good player. I think he was a great player. But in the same respect, I only think of him as a Denver Bronco. Like his year he spent in Atlanta, I could care less about. He played well, though, for a little bit. I think Justin Simmons is a Denver Bronco, and he should have figured out a way to stay there for cheap.
I agree. And I mean, I think especially thinking of, somebody who was a true peer to him, like Kevin Byard, who kind of bounced around after leaving Tennessee. Like, obviously, he was with the Eagles, and then following that with the Bears. Like, I think Justin Simmons would have been smart to just try and stick it out at a landing spot. Even if you aren't making what, you're thinking you're worth, do it for 1 year, and, you go out there and you prove yourself. Someone's going to pay you. I mean, safety, while it's not a, premier position in the NFL, it's still a position where, teams, if they're a safety away, like, let's look at the Philadelphia Eagles, for example. Like, you guys lost Reed Blankenship, and I'm sure, not saying Justin Simmons would have filled the need exactly there, but just how fast, like, that happens. Like, safety can easily be a position where you go in and make an impact, and you can play your way into a good contract after one season.
Yeah.
But that is it really for Hot Wire here. I wanted to keep it light because I know I'm sure we're going to have some fun with the NFL draft discussion here. We've got a lot of playoff talk too. So,
guys, I'll be very transparent with you about the NFL draft. I think people think my team did better than I think they did. I think the Eagles did decent, did well, gave them a B+. I'm sick to my absolute stomach that the best player in the draft went to the Dallas Cowboys. And not only did the best player in the draft go to the Dallas Cowboys, he's going there with a really, really good defensive backs coach, who's now our new defensive coordinator, Christian Parker. You're talking about the guy that Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Reed Blankenship just praised for how good Christian Parker was with that defense. He's going to be the defensive coordinator for Caleb Downs, who's, in my opinion, one of the smartest players, has a nose for the football. Guys, that was the best pick in the draft. I don't care what Dallas did outside of that. That was the best pick in the draft. I did find a lot of things. A lot of teams did very poorly. I'm sure we'll talk about the Rams. Not saying that I think they did poorly or not, but that's a really crazy pick at 13. But I guess it makes sense for what they're doing. But I was very shocked that Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton went in the 4th and 6th round. That shocked me. I think Katron Allen's an NFL running back. I think he's got a good chance of starting in Washington this year. Nicholas Singleton going to the Tennessee Titans, he could start there. I really believe that. What teams or what players were unexpected for you guys? I gave you guys a little bit of a rundown of where my mind was at.
I mean, I will say I fall on that other side of Eugene with the Eagles. I think you guys had a A- to A weekend. Obviously, love the Mekhi Lemon pick, especially where you got him. And you take him away from the Steelers. I love that even more. Eli Stower is a guy who I think that can have a ton of impact there for you. And then you got a couple sleepers there. Micah Morris is a guy you got in the 6th round who I actually sat by his family when I was at the combine there. So I got to watch him a ton because, we were talking and things like that. But he's a guy who I think down the line can potentially fill a void where, Landon Dickerson's talking about retiring and things like that. Give him 1 or 2 years. Like, I think he could be a guy that actually plays for you. And then you got the biggest, question mark in the entire draft there with Bernard, the D tackle from Nigeria. Like, he looks like an absolute freak, but he's never played organized football.
Fucking Obafemi, bro.
I was just gonna say, drafted Obafemi.
And he's never played football before. So, like, he could either be like
the call. Did you hear the call?
I did. It was hilarious. But I guess I got to walk to Philly.
No, we're going to get you a plane.
I said, don't worry about it. We got you. We'll give you a plane. But, no, I loved your guys' draft there. As a, top to bottom, I definitely, really liked it there. It was one of my top 5 teams that, I think did really well. Another one,
Cole Payton in the 5th round. What the hell is that?
I mean, you guys can't stay away from the North Dakota State well. That's all that is.
They traded for Andy Dalton. They got, Jalen Hurts, obviously. They got the Mormon missile on the roster. Kyle McCord was on the roster last year. And now we're drafting. Like, why do we have 16 quarterbacks in Philadelphia?
I don't know. I mean, that one is a little bit questionable, but I do think Cole Payton he's a guy that can be versatile for you. I mean, he ran like a 4.5 at the combine, and I do think he has potential there. Obviously, he's not going to take Jalen's job. Like, I'm not going to come on here and say that, but I do think he has talent at least. And where you got him, I'm not necessarily mad at it. So, I mean, teams take flyers on these random quarterbacks all the time there. And
5th round. It's not a flyer.
I mean, 5th round for the Eagles, that's a flyer.
Yeah, it is.
Micah Morris in the 6th. I think that
the other 2 teams I just briefly wanted to go over, Kansas City Chiefs, I thought hit absolute home runs with their picks there. Going up and getting Mansour Delane, I thought was a great decision for them. And then to pair it with Peter Woods in the back end of the 1st round there, I thought that was great for them. And then in the 5th round, getting Cyrus Allen, who I think is so underrated as a receiver, great route runner, and really just gets open. I mean, I think that's exactly what that Kansas City Chiefs team needs. So I love their draft. And then the last one, not even being a homer, Cleveland Browns had an absolutely incredible weekend when it came to drafting. I loved Fano. I always thought that he was the best lineman in the class. I don't know necessarily what position he's going to play. They said he's going to play left tackle, but I just thought as a whole he was the best tackle in the class. And then you get Concepcion, who is a absolute playmaker. The one thing that you're desperately missing. You double back and get Boston, who was another guy who had 1st-round talent. And then you move back into the 2nd round and get Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, who a lot of people had 1st-round grades on at safety. So I thought the Browns had a really great weekend and got a lot of guys who are going to be able to step in and play right away, very similar to what their 2025 class did.
And they got Jettas too, bro. Justin Jefferson.
They did get Justin Jefferson as well.
I actually it sounds crazy, but I like the Browns draft a lot. I think that them taking the 2 kids from Alabama, the center and the linebacker, are super underrated picks in the 5th round. I think they did really well. The Browns.
Parker's going to have a shot to play as a rookie.
Now, on the other hand, can someone help me understand what the hell the Bengals are doing? And if we're going to talk about a team that I think had a terrible draft, guys, I not that I'm trying to pour this on. What the hell did the New York Giants do in this draft? I mean, you draft. Look, if any team didn't need, see, you get the face because they took an Ohio State kid. So you're like,
no, their draft as a whole.
No, it wasn't. If any team, it wasn't. If any team did not need another fucking edge rusher, it was the Giants. And now they're going to move Arvell Reese to play. Like, they're going to move him to play inside linebacker when Sonny Styles was sitting right on the board, who's a generational talent that plays, wait for this, inside linebacker. Then they get to 10, and I'm like, all right, well, they'll go get Caleb Downs. They take Francis Maiagu from Miami, who I just don't see it. I think he's a more of I said this before, I think he's a project. I think he needs a city here. Malachi Fields, who I don't think does anything great in the 3rd round. I just don't like the draft at all. I don't. You traded Dexter Lawrence for Francis Maiagu, if we're breaking it down. And you drafted with your first pick a position that's not of need. And then you're going to change that first pick, change his position basically. I know he played that at Ohio State. He played a little bit of both. When you had a guy that played the position you wanted sitting there. Cottrell, if you were drafting an inside linebacker in this draft, would you rather have Sonny Styles or Arvell Reese?
I would rather have Sonny Styles, but I can 100% understand the reason for wanting to draft Arvell Reese. 100%. Because I mean, I think
you have Brian Burns, you have Kevon Thibodeau. Yeah,
he has the higher upside, and we all know that the Giants aren't in love with Thibodeau. So like that's not like Thibodeau's on the roster for this year, but
the end.
Right now, he is their 4th DN right now, absolutely. But they also said they're going to play him at inside linebacker. So I mean, if they wanted the versatility of a guy who can play the inside linebacker position there and then also rush off the edge there, like that makes a ton of sense to go get Arvell Reese. And again, I'm not saying he's going to be this, but think back about Micah Parsons, like when he was coming in and how Dallas used him. Like it's going to be the exact same thing of the early years of Micah. Now, I'm not saying Arvell is going to have that same success there because that's a high bar to meet. But to me, that makes a ton of sense if you want that versatility there, especially when, you know, the talent is he's got the highest ceiling of the two between him and Sonny. And they already said that Maui Noah is going to be playing guard for them. I think that's a great move for them. So I think he's going to be a guy you can plug in right away, shore up one part of that offensive line. Colton Hood in the 2nd round, I thought was a good pick. Malachi Fields, who I agree with you, doesn't necessarily do anything spectacular there, but he does go up and get 50-50 balls there. So, I mean, I do think that can be a valuable piece to a team that's looking for another outside receiver there. So, I don't hate the Giants draft as much as you do.
Fair. Shall I dislike?
I thought the Eagles had a really good draft. I think you factor in the trade with Minnesota as well. Not that that's part of the draft, but I mean it's to get that piece as well. I thought they had a good weekend. I thought Cleveland had a great weekend. I just texted Cottrell. It took Concepcion, and then I randomly turned it on the next day, right as they were drafting. They took Boston again. So I mean, it was I thought they had a really good day. Really good draft. I think the Jets had a great draft. They're missing the obvious piece. I think, but what they're going to build around that position, and the pieces they got. We'll see what they do next year with all the quarterbacks coming out. I feel like Aaron Glenn's probably a sitting duck because I feel like you're going to have to do Gene's most famous saying next year if you're going to do it right. But
like the Cade Klubnik pick in the 4th round. You don't think he's going to be a starter?
No, not for what they need. But to get Wilson a running mate, and then also the other picks they made around that, I think they had a really good draft. They definitely didn't waste any picks. I don't think they missed on any picks.
They took Klubnik in the 4th round. That would be a miss.
We got to see what he's going to be.
You got to take what's available.
Yeah, it's again. I don't think you're living or dying by drafting a quarterback in the 4th round.
I think the Saints had a hell of a draft, if we're being honest.
Saints didn't have a bad draft. I think Baltimore had a good draft.
Saints.
The Rams and Ty Simpson thing is a interesting story. The more that comes out about that.
The Rams' whole draft has been terrible. Like, all right, if you want to say Ty Simpson, like, we're going to groom him for the future, and then now our next few picks, they took Max Clare in the 2nd round. And don't take this the wrong way. They just took the kid from Oregon last year, Terrence Ferguson, who was very good for them. And they already have, what's his name? He's always catching 3 touchdowns in one game. Tyler Higbee. Not a position of need for the Rams. You're talking about a win-now team that went out and got nobody. Not one player they drafted will contribute to their team this year. Not one. They drafted a group of people, 6 players, and not one player that they drafted will contribute to their team this year. Not one.
Means they really like your team.
Yes. Wouldn't you want to make your team better?
Yeah, well, they already got McDuffie.
That's what they did when they went out and got McDuffie.
It's, they got to see. Both those tight ends might not make, cut money-wise if they got to do something else. There's already talk of them maybe getting away from Kyron Williams next year. So, there's moves, I think, to be made there if they want to. But I think they really like your team.
I didn't love their draft either. I'm with you. I was not a fan of their draft, but as far as like contenders, like who I didn't really like their draft, the Lions had a really weird draft, like always.
Real weird draft.
Brad Holmes is one of those guys who I thought their draft when they got Jack Campbell, I'll be the first one to admit they took Jack Campbell and Jahmyr Gibbs in the 1st round. I thought that draft was weird, and both of those guys turned out to be all pro caliber players. So time will truly tell with that, but Blake Miller being their first pick when you had Monroe Freeling still on the board there and you had Maxie Honiger on the board, who both have higher upside. And I think Honiger was more of a polished player than Blake Miller as a whole there. And then I don't know. It just felt like they were reaching for guys, and they're big on drafting their guys, and I get that. But just wasn't a big fan of their draft. And the other team from the NFC who I wasn't a big fan of was Green Bay Packers. I get it. They didn't have a 1st round pick this year because of the Micah trade, but I just feel like they didn't grab, just like how you said with the Rams, I feel like the Packers didn't grab anybody that's going to be able to contribute to what they're trying to do in winning a championship next season.
It's fair. Anybody you think that had sneaky good draft? There's 2 for me. That's why I asked.
Sneaky good.
Sneaky.
For me, I would say sneaky good. Chicago Bears would be one of them. Getting Thieneman play safety for you as late as you did. I think Logan Jones at center is going to be a good piece there. He's going to be a starter for you at some point. Then they got Sam Roosh, who I don't truly understand the fit there because they already have 2 tight ends that play a ton for them, but he's a very athletic tight end, one of the most athletic tight ends we've seen go through the combine there. And then in the 4th, getting Malik Muhammad, who was a guy going into 2025, was someone who we thought could potentially be a 1st rounder this year, didn't play well, and obviously the stock dropped. But you talk about potential, getting him in the 4th round there, especially after losing Nashawn Wright, I think that's a a sneaky good pickup there, especially on day 3. So the Bears would be like my sneaky good team.
I had the Ravens and the Panthers.
Panthers
Both
did have
teams.
a great day too.
Chris Brazel in the 3rd round is just an absolute steal, in my opinion. And the team that I think that had the worst overall draft outside of the Rams are the Arizona Cardinals. You just signed Tyler Algier to be your starting running back, and then you draft Jeremiah Love. And in the 3rd round, you draft Carson Beck. Like, that's your replacement at quarterback. I just don't see it. Another team, I just think that I don't think they really did anything to help their team. So, any other like call outs you guys want to talk about for the NFL draft? Anything that stands out? Anything you like, dislike?
I mean, really, the only other thing that I would point out is that while I think this class was weaker as a whole, it was interesting to see how many trades ultimately happened and how many teams didn't. I thought we would see more teams like bowing out of the first round this year and trying to get a first round pick for next year, or just pick up more picks for next year, because I do think next year's class is going to be loaded. But I was curious to see, a lot of teams not go that route and still kind of stand pat to where they were at. And then I was also the one other, I guess, call out I would have is the Miami Dolphins trading out of 11 with the Cowboys when Caleb Downs was still on the board, and obviously safety is a huge need for them. But then drafting Caden Proctor, who I think is going to transition to a great guard in the NFL. Like, don't get me wrong, but if you knew you were going to be converting him to guard, why didn't you just take the best guard on the board there in Vega Ioana from Penn State, who you knew is a bona fide guard and the absolute best guard prospect there? So that one was one that I had a ton of question marks about. The Dolphins draft as a whole, I had question marks about. I didn't necessarily hate it, but it was just like, this guy is right here. Like, why didn't you go this route to, sure things up there?
I mean, depending on, how you feel about Mendoza, and I've talked about it before, but I think the Raiders had a sneaky good draft. I really do. They got McCoy in the 4th, who up until late in the season with the injury stuff, he was a first or second round guy on everybody's board. They got him in the 4th. I think they did a decent job. Obviously, a lot of it's going to depend on, what how Mendoza plays and what he turns into. But I thought they had a good weekend.
They went quarterback, and then after that, it was defense, offensive line, defense, and then they went running back, defense. Like, they really wanted to draft for defense in that draft. As they should, though.
And the one lineman they got, Trey Zune's going to play for him, like, probably right away. Still don't know what's going to happen with Jackson Powers Johnson, but Trey Zune's a gamer. He's going to definitely have a spot on that Raiders offensive line.
Tampa Bay stole Ruben Bain at 15.
I could not believe he fell that far.
Could not believe he fell to 15.
Yeah. I mean, I think
I couldn't believe Downs fell to where he did either, to be honest.
I agree. I almost threw up watching that draft.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because you were probably thinking the same thing I was. Once it started, I was like, it's inevitable. I was like, he's just going to fall into Dallas's lap. And I was like, that's just a goddamn travesty for us.
Dallas made the best and worst pick in the first round.
That's a fact.
Malachi Lawrence,
shoot themselves in the foot.
Wild. Like, that was a guy who mid second rounder easy, and they took him at 24. Being cute, trading back with the Eagles, which I thought was hilarious, by the way. The fact that the Eagles had that, you guys.
The Eagles have 2 draft picks they're going to pick up from this.
From what?
This draft, the Eagles will earn 2 draft picks from tampering charges.
How do you figure?
Well, they're going to earn one from the Pittsburgh Steelers because you can't be on the phone with a draft pick before you're on the clock. So the Eagles were on the clock and they were on the phone with Mekhi Lemon. So I
I don't think they're going to get one for that because the Eagles weren't technically on the clock at that time. The Cowboys were on the clock, and they knew
the Steelers were not on the clock though. You can't call a draft pick.
You can't call them. You just can't. You can't impede another team from calling them. And at that time, when the Eagles were calling, the Eagles weren't on the clock.
I mean, they told them they were drafting them. I mean,
yeah.
So I'm just saying,
saying that they're looking into that, and then you're going to get.
I don't think they're going to. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. What's the other one for though?
The other one's going to be the AJ Brown, Diana Rossini, Mike Vrabel situation, and I think the Eagles are finessing them and be like, "Look, you're going to give us a 3rd round pick anyway. You might as well give us a 1st and a 3rd, and then we won't like make a big stink of it." I think they finessed them in the trade a little bit because they're like, well, I mean, you can either play ball or we can go to the league and
we'll get it from the NFL. Yeah, that's very possible. I still don't think that compensation is going to be there, but I'm thinking second.
You don't think 1st and 3rd?
I think 2nd and 5th is what you're going to get from.
No way, bro. No way. No way. If that doesn't start with a 1st, I will be my mind will be blown. I think it's a 1st plus.
I'll say this. I think it can be a 1st, but you guys do something that I think is smart, though. And other teams like to go in on it as well. It might be a conditional 1st. I don't know what those conditions will be, but I remember, was it the Wentz deal that you went the conditional route?
Yeah.
Or was it there was one of the deals that you had that was conditional, based on playing time and stuff like that. So I think with AJ, especially with how mentally unstable he is, the Patriots would be smart to try and protect their asset there and say, hey, like if he does what he's supposed to, like we'll happily give you a 1st. But if he doesn't, you take this 2nd and you be happy.
Yeah. I think that they get a 1st. I just think it's going to be I think they go a 2028 1st and then next year 3rd.
I can see that happening too. If you could push out 2020, I can see that happening too.
I think the Patriots, well, we're not going to give you next year's, but we'll give you the following year's 1st, and we'll give you a 3rd. I really believe that. You're not getting a 1st and a 2nd, I don't think, RJ.
Yeah, I can
you get moved regardless. You don't really have a choice on this one. I mean, you get this fucking. Didn't he have something else come out again?
But
I think he had something else come out that was like
2027 class is way too low to just be given. And granted, AJ is a star when he's right, but 2027 is too low to just be giving those away.
I think it comes out like this week, if I'm being honest with you, and it says post June 1st designation for the trade. I think you'll get the full trade this week.
No reason to wait. Like it's not like it's
Yeah, you could just set it as a post June 1st designation.
Saw something that said, well, I don't believe it now, but at the time when the Patriots picked not Spencer Fano, Caleb Lomu, like maybe they do a swap AJ Brown for Lomu. I was like, that would make sense, but that sounds like that'd be so shady and illegal to like have a trade in place before the June 1st designation.
Yeah, he's a great team player though. You're right, RJ. He's a great guy. Great guy. Y'all ready for some trivia?
Yes, sir.
Flexing. All right, Shao. Sorry, RJ. Comments are going off right officially now. Comments are off. You're good, brother.
All right, gents. I got a question here that I think you guys are going to fly through 8 of these 10. We're going to the NBA, and we're going all active players here.
All active.
All active.
Okay.
Active playoff leaders in total rebounds.
Oh, wow. I like that. I like that a lot. I feel like you find like any list you can to put your guy on it, and I don't care what the list is. But
well,
you'll find
if it's any basketball list, I mean he's going to be on it.
I'm first, right? Because I won last week.
Yep. Well, I know you're going, so
the King, LeBron James.
He's number 1, 2,661 total rebounds.
How many?
2,661.
Just for shit's sake, he's one, right?
Yep.
Like, how far is the fall down to 10?
10 has 940.
It's actually really funny.
Oh my
How
god.
far? I'm actually looking at a room for sports cards for inspiration.
I'll go
Oh, like
Draymond
this guy.
Green.
Draymond Green is number 3 with 1457.
This guy's not on the list. This is number 12. Give me Nikola Jokic.
Nikola Jokic is number 5 at 1229.
Has JoJo played enough? I'll go with JoJo.
Joel Embiid is not on the list.
No, he's not. I'm thinking of people that played long, not necessarily people that are great rebounders. But I'm going to Giannis.
Giannis Antetokounmpo is number 8, 1022. Gene taking a commanding 3-1 lead.
I'll go Durant.
Kevin Durant, number 4, 1333.
Give me Russell Westbrook.
Ooh.
Russell Westbrook is not in the top 10.
I feel like that's crazy. I mean, Stat Pad and Westbrook's got to be out there. I'm shocked he's not.
Give me ex-Celtic. Give me Al Horford. He's been around forever.
Al Horford is number 2 on this list, and by far the hardest one, in my opinion, to get, with 1561.
You just don't think of average Al, but that's a good poll.
I know. That's why I looked at the list and I'm like, everybody is, for the most part, a bona fide superstar. Like, Al is definitely got the least credentials of the bunch here.
I'm between 2 players. One is a current Sixer, one is an ex-Sixer.
Ruh-roh.
One's a guard, one's a center.
I know where you're going. Well, I know the 2. I don't know which direction you're leaning.
Give me James Harden.
James Harden is
He's fucking
number
list, isn't he?
9.
That's unbelievable.
961.
I'll go with the next one next.
4-3.
I'm going to stay with Boston. Just don't know which one I want to go with.
I don't know who in Boston would be on this list.
I'll go with Tatum.
Jason Tatum is number 7.
Really?
1,042 rebounds.
I never would have guessed that. I'll go Andre Drummond.
Andre Drummond is not in the top 10.
I would never guess Tatum. I didn't think he played long enough.
What about Cat?
Everything else I've guessed has been forever. Like he's played for like 20 years.
Did you say, Bill?
Cat?
Cat's not in the top 10.
Who else can I go with? How many people are left?
2.
What numbers are they?
Number 6 and number 10.
10 and 6.
What you got for me, Gene?
I'm trying, bro. I'm like lost. Can you tell me their conference? Can I cheat?
I mean, if you guys want the conference, I can give them to you.
Tough to do. I'm trying to get.
I mean, we would do it on your turn. I think I know one, but I feel good about one. After that, I'm kind of whatever. You can say it. I don't care.
Both are in the Western Conference.
Thank God, because I almost said Paul George. Thank God. I'm dead serious. West. I'm not lost here. I have like 3 names on my head.
Bill, is one of your names confirmed now?
Both names are looking better than they were 10 seconds ago.
Okay.
They
Gene,
still might both be wrong though. They're in the right conference at least.
I'll go with this is going to be a crazy poll. If I'm right on this is insane.
He's going to say one of mine.
Give me Steph Curry.
Oh,
Steph Curry is not in the top 10.
I know that's a crazy guess, but I feel like that he'd be higher. He's played so many playoff games.
Dude's been around forever. Well, not forever. He's been around for a while. I still don't know if he makes lists. I feel like he loses in the first round of playoffs all the time. I'll go with Rudy Gobert.
He's going to be on there. That's a good one.
Rudy Gobert is number 10 at 940. For what it's worth, I'm not giving you guys a hint for number 6. It'd be too easy. You guys got to figure it out.
You know what my problem is? I keep thinking of Western Conference teams, and I can't find anybody that's currently in the Western Conference that's in the playoffs that would be on this list. Like, I can't find anybody. I just went through every team. Like, Oklahoma City has nobody. The Spurs have nobody. The Nuggets already have Jokic. Like, the Lakers we already talked about. Like, I don't find anybody that's in the play. Maybe it's not Minnesota. We already have Gobert. It's not friggin' Julius Randle.
He's stalling.
I am stalling. I'm trying to go through the team.
He's keeping me entertained, so we're not clock's not rolling there.
Not Phoenix, not. It can't be. Well, could be. Give me Luka.
Luka is not in the top 10. For all the marbles here, Bill.
Give me Jimmy Buckets.
Jimmy Butler is not in the top 10.
You went with that guy's not playing. That's smart. I think I'm going to go further down the list now. Nobody on. You know what? I stopped on Dallas. That's when I said Luka. Like, so I'm like looking at like every team in the West.
Yeah, I got you. There's one name that's in the top 20 that I'm surprised neither of you have said. He's not in the top 10, but I'm surprised neither of you have said him yet.
Oh my God, I think I know who it is.
I don't know a name to give you. Who's played a long time that's in the West? Not that team. Not the Kings. They're never in the playoffs. Clippers. No. Oh, wait. Kawhi?
Fuck.
Is that it?
Kawhi Leonard is number 6.
I got to the Clippers, and I'm like, no.
1,142 rebounds there. I'm very curious now. I did not give you guys anybody outside of the top 10. So you know how this works here. Closest one to, well, whoever got the higher number.
I mean, who goes first? Because I feel like that the only answer is the one I've already given.
Well, you just went.
That's fair.
But I do agree. I think it's somebody you already said.
It's the only answer. I don't know how he's on the list.
It's got to be Ross.
It's got to be Ross.
I said we run it back next week.
Is it Ross? Well, how do you know it's Ross?
It has to be.
Do you have any guesses, Gene?
I mean, Russ would be a pick or Paul George. They're in my opinion, two guys that I said that I think that should be on the list.
You think Paul's that high?
Yeah, Paul George, 100%. He played for Indiana. He played for Oklahoma City. He played for the Clippers. He played for the Sixers. He's had rebounds everywhere, bro. He should have been in playoffs every year.
Okay, so how about make it fun then? You guys both think Russ is number 11. You guys would both be correct with that. He's got 905.
Okay.
And Paul George is number 12 at 875.
That's insane. I have 11 and 12. It should be an auto win.
All right. So we got those two out of the way there. I don't think you guys are going to guess. I'm curious to hear your next guesses. And you guys gave me a ton of them, but I never told you where they were at, never gave you any hints of anything. So because you guys are both on board there, rip
Bill,
one.
whoever you want.
I'm going back to a guy I said that I'm going with Jimmy.
Okay.
It's got to be in the top 20.
You know, a guy I thought was on the list and that I haven't said yet is Bam. I'll go Bam.
I just lost.
Jimmy Butler is number 14, 807.
I need him to be at 13 then. So I lost.
Bam Adebayo is at 18 with 715.
Nice. Congrats, brother. Nice hit.
Gene, a guy you said is actually sitting at number 13.
Ooh.
Who?
One Wardell Stephen Curry.
Oh my God, bro.
13 with 820.
That's on me then. The only person I can blame is myself. I had 11, 12, and 13.
Yep. Steph is
I had
at
11, 12, and 13.
That's funny.
I did
you
pretty
guys,
well.
You guys were all over the top 20, though. I mean, Bill, Jaylen Brown was at 15 with 801. I know you said Tatum, but I mean, you know, Jaylen Brown's right there. Clint Capella was one you guys didn't say, but he's at 16 at 740. Kevin Love at 17. Like I said, Bam at 18. Anthony Davis was at 19. That was a guy who I thought you guys might throw out there.
I'm shocked I didn't say him. As soon as you said that name, I forgot about him. I was going through teams, and I just never got to that. Like, I didn't get to the Wizards, bro.
I was shocked that he didn't come up. And then number 20 was DeAndre Jordan. And just for the little tidbit,
is Andre Drummond nowhere near this list?
Where's JoJo?
Joel Embiid is at 21, and Andre Drummond is.
I thought Drummond would have more rebounds.
Andre Drummond is at 95 with 178.
Jesus Christ. It's got to be the worst pick of the first round. All right.
He's only got one thing. He's only got 9 more total playoff rebounds than Tyrese Maxey.
That's crazy. Let's talk about the NBA playoffs, man. I'm so glad the Cavs got the walkthrough in the first round of the Toronto Raptors. I mean, walkthrough, right?
You did say that, Joe.
I did. That I did. Hey,
you know what the worst part was? When the Cavs went up 2-0, Control was doing his victory lap by talking about JB Bickerstaff. And
I wouldn't call it my victory lap, but
I just felt like you were throwing shade at another team and them doing bad in the playoffs, which, by the way, Orlando finally looks whole. Can we be really honest? Franz Wagner Paulo Banchero, Desmond Bain, they finally look like I thought they were supposed to be constructed this season. They look good.
They do, but can we talk about the flip side of literally what I've been saying for the last 2 months about the Pistons and them not having a second score?
He's trying to get Piston points now because the Cavaliers are losing.
They're relying on Tobias Harris to drop basically 25 a game to stay in these games. Like Tobias Harris is their second most reliable scorer on offense there, and that's just not a recipe for success, as you guys know.
All right, so to be very clear, this series is unique for Jalen Duran to be their number 2 scorer. But Wendell Carter is a unique matchup for Jalen Duran. Not a lot of teams are going to be able to put out a physical big man that's going to be able to out physical Jalen Duran and still run with him athletically. So let's not pretend that they don't have a guy that could be their number 2. Wendell Carter is just doing an incredible job of shutting him down. And what the Magic do to most teams in the playoffs is they really flood the paint with size, with Paolo, likes to hang out there. So it's Cade Cunningham, and you need a Sword Thompson or you need a guy from the outside to catch fire, and they haven't caught that. They have not got that.
And they don't have anybody to catch that. And my whole point, you can talk about
Harris, remember, he's a stud.
You can talk about Wendell Carter all you want to, but if I said name your top 10 centers in basketball, Wendell Carter is not a name that you're throwing out there. So I get it.
That's not what he's saying, though.
I know, I get it. Matchups are everything. I 100% understand that, but there is a bona fide reason why the week that you were on the boat, Gene, me and Bill were on the show, and we said whoever the Pistons, whether it be the Magic or the Hornets, is a good chance that the Pistons are going to be going home after the first round. Because
True.
They don't match up well with either one of them.
I wouldn't have picked that. I wouldn't have picked that.
We just both said no matter who it was, they were gonna be long competitive series. It wasn't gonna be a normal number 1 walking through a number 8. They were gonna be matchup problems for Detroit either way.
Okay. You're not wrong. I just I wouldn't have thought that.
I just think they're desperately missing a guy that can go create their own shots. I mean, even if you look at Game 4, Kate was so gassed by the end of that game. They're throwing him the ball to create his own shot and things like that. And he just had nothing left in the tank. And I just don't know how you're going to have an offense where only one guy can go create their own shot on the offensive side of the ball there. So,
what's up, Jory? Just talking shit about your Cavaliers. You gonna take that?
I mean, they deserve it. I mean, and you got 2 bigs who are supposed to be.
Bro, you better not get to Game 7, bro. Because I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna see a side of James Harden that every one of us have seen.
He'll be throwing the ball off the scoreboard, be all kinds of crazy shit you never seen.
7 turnovers.
For what it's worth, though, James hasn't been he didn't play great in.
He wasn't the problem the first 5 games versus Boston. And then Game 6 and 7 came around,
and he shit on himself.
Terrible.
I get it.
I'll never forget 1 for 11 with 7 turnovers in Game 7. I'll never forget it. Never.
I get it for sure. Cavs, I mean, they get no benefit of doubt from me. Emmanuel Quickly has not been playing in the series. He played in 1 game and got re-injured and is not playing right now. So they get no benefit of the doubt. Everybody's 100% healthy. Evan Mobley has been soft. Jared Allen's been soft. And that's just where we're at right now. So no excuses for me.
There's no matchups in the East that are walkthroughs. None. The 76ers went into Boston last night, won a 2nd game in Boston. Sucks they lost both games in Philadelphia. I think the reason they lost Game 4 in Philadelphia is because Joel came back in 4. Joel comes back in 3. I think they win Game 4. But the game that the player comes back and they're trying to get their legs underneath them is always the game. And I said that. I hate that he's coming back in Game 4 because you're going to go down 3-1. Now, they went back and won in Boston. They have the opportunity to win in Philadelphia. And, guys, I'm going to be very honest with you. If you started the series right now, I think Philadelphia wins the series. I don't think they'll win the series. I think they lose Game 7 in Boston, but I think they win Game 6 in Philadelphia. I think Maxey, Edgecombe, Embiid, George, Grimes, I think they're playing better. You need it. Listen, I'm going to make it very clear. Boston's the better basketball team in whole. But if you give me a fully healthy 76ers team, I think they win this playoff series without a fully healthy Jason Tatum.
I don't disagree. I mean, I think Boston is one of those teams where this isn't Boston of 2 years ago. And I think I said that, a couple weeks ago, and we were kind of previewing the series here, and just seeing how VJ is not afraid to attack. And obviously we know what Maxey is. And, you talk about all the other guys, on that Sixers roster there. But I also think on the flip side of it, like for Boston, like they had to rely on, and I shouldn't say rely on because he's capable of it, but like Peyton Pritchard was shooting out of his mind in game 4. And like that's not something that you expect to necessarily happen.
Let me be fair with that though. The Celtics win that basketball game whether Peyton Pritchard shoots out of his mind or not. I think they won the game.
You're right. You're right for sure. I'm just saying, like, when Peyton is hitting shots like that, though, it changes the momentum of games. Like, I just think back to when they were in the finals against Dallas, and Peyton Pritchard was, hitting some shots, and then he hit a half court shot to close out a quarter, and just those kinds of things just change the momentum in these basketball games, especially when you're trying to mount comebacks, things like that. So when Peyton Pritchard hit that, half court shot in the end of the first quarter there, it just felt like all the momentum was on the Celtics side there, and there was no looking back from that point. So
you're right.
That's just kind of how I feel with them. But I do think this Celtics team it's not going to be easy, but there are holes that you can exploit. I think the Sixers are doing a good job of showing that.
If Joel could play like that for the next 2 games, it gets real interesting. If he can play that many minutes and be that efficient, score that many points, play pretty well defensively, and stay on the court, not be in foul trouble, anything like that, it gets interesting because they have nobody to guard them. They had nobody that could even stay in front of them last night. So they got to take care of business first at home, obviously. And then, game 7s are always, anything can happen type thing. But I agree with both of you that it's not the same Boston team as 2 years ago. And Tatum's not 100%, but at the same time, I feel like everybody would have assumed or at least thought that they would still get past Philadelphia some way, somehow. And I don't know if that's the case now.
You buying into the Sixers, Bill? Is that what you're saying now?
I'm not. Listen, I've said it all year long. I said if they were healthy at the right time, depending on what their draw was, they can make a run. I'm not saying they get past Boston, but I would agree with Gene with what he said a couple weeks ago. If they do get past Boston, then I think it's up for grabs because
the Sixers get past Boston right now with as many games as Joel Embiid and Paul George have sat out. If the Sixers get past Boston, there's not another team in the East they won't be favored to beat.
I hate to say it, but I think he's right.
I think they'll piss down their legs because that's what they do. But I like the Knicks series would be one of those series where you're like, how did you get offense out rebounded by 70?
They got to win their series first.
They're up 3-2. They're going to win that series.
We thought was going to go a lot longer than a lot of people thought.
I still think
Game 4
was 6. Game 4 was. Yeah, I think the Hawks win Game 6. I think CJ is going to have a big game down in Atlanta. Jalen Johnson hasn't shot the ball particularly well the past couple games. I do think that will change going back home there. And I think we get a Game 7 where, I think the Knicks have shown you that they're the better team. And obviously, talent-wise, you kind of know that just looking at the rosters. But the way Game 5 looked, like, really the Hawks had no shot of, competing in that game. And I get that it was in the Garden. But even Game 4, I think the Knicks have done a really good job of showing and playing like they're the better basketball team.
They're the better basketball team. In the West, it's a different story. And outside, the one thing that's kind of nuts, and we're all going to give them the benefit of the doubt because we always fucking do on this show. But the fact that the Minnesota Timberwolves are up 3-2 on the Denver Nuggets with Anthony Edwards out and Dante DiVincenzo out, and they're still up 3-2 in the series is fucking comical. I still think the Nuggets win the series, and they're going to give, the Thunder, or I think they play the Spurs next, anything that they can handle because Nikola Jokic is that guy. But, man, it would be a tremendous disappointment for the Denver Nuggets to lose a series versus Minnesota with nobody.
Yeah, but I mean,
you're being nice there.
I also think too that
that's a fucking choke job.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting Minnesota to win the game that Ant went down, but that was the game that put them up 3-1. It's not like Ant's been out the entire series or Dante's been out the entire series, and this ultimately happened there. I do expect Denver to win this series, but if they lose, I mean, that's it. There is no benefit of the doubt. It is absolutely damning for them. I mean, I get it. Aaron Gordon missed a couple of games, but for the most part, you're healthy, and you're going up against the Minnesota team that should not be in this spot. And it's not like Minnesota's just winning or squeaking by these games. Like, a couple of them have been blowouts, and Jaden McDaniels talked this stuff in this press conference about how Denver doesn't play defense and how he's going to attack, each of those guys individually there. And Denver heard that and did absolutely nothing to change the narrative. So you got to look at yourself in the mirror, and there is no excuses for that Denver team if they don't win that series, especially with Ant and Dante ultimately being out the rest of the way.
What about Ayo, bro? Ayo!
Him having 40 in a playoff game is wild.
I'll say this. I don't know if you guys watched the last game. Terrence Shannon Jr. is waking up to be the player that I think he's supposed to be.
Those Illinois kids, man.
I like Terrence Shannon Jr. I always like Terrence Shannon Jr.
Agreed.
But Spurs, are we on a collision course for Spurs versus Thunder?
I thought we were always there. I mean, I know you. I think you guys like Denver.
I did not.
Not to win. I think you guys like them to be more competitive than I thought they were going to be. I said from the get-go I thought we were OKC San Antonio. I think they're both head and shoulders above everybody else in the West.
I think the one thing you got to look out for with San Antonio, and you give them credit for taking care of business in 5, they cannot go into the second round if it's against Minnesota or against Denver and be down 15 or 18 or 19 in the second half and expect to just, let's wake up now, flip a switch and go and turn it on and, dominate the basketball game. Like, that's not going to happen against those teams there. So I do think that's the one thing you kind of worry about with them. But at the same time, it's a lot of those guys' first playoff experience. So you get the first series out of the way and, you get those nerves out of the way there and things like that, the miscues and just not firing how you're supposed to. Wemby also didn't play in one of those games there as well, although they did actually end up winning it. But that also just kind of messes up your flow there. So that is one of the things that I am not necessarily worried about, but I'm curious to see how it all shakes out, especially if Denver can advance there. Because I don't think they're going to get a team that just rolls over or is just at a void of talent to keep elite like that if they ultimately give it up.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, I also think after last year's experience and having the year they did this year, I think they're a little bit more confident in how good they are. I think they know they can get away with that a little bit with certain teams. To your point, I mean, you're not going to get away with you're definitely going to get away with it against OKC. And I guess Denver would lend to be the interesting one because they don't play great defense. You can get back into a game by going on a run, but that will be something to watch for sure.
So are we on a crash course for Celtics next round?
Crash course? See, you keep throwing around that crash course word, and I think you're underselling the Sixers. And
the Hawks.
I'm not saying you're underselling the Hawks, but
who do you think has a better chance of winning that series? The Sixers or the Hawks?
The Sixers.
I agree.
I agree.
Would it be crazy if I told you that if I was starting a franchise, out of all the players that are in the Sixers and the Celtics series, I would start it with Tyrese Maxey?
It's not crazy now because of Tatum's injury, but pre-Tatum injury, that's a crazy statement.
I get why you're saying it, and he's quickly become one of the people, athlete-wise, in the city, even still at a young age, that I pray to God wins a championship here.
You have to make it his team. You got to get rid of Joel. Tyrese Maxey, and listen, I read in between the lines. A lot of people don't. Tyrese Maxey was asked a couple questions after game 5, and he was asked a couple games after game 4. So a couple questions. And what he said after game 5 was super telling. I really read into it. And did you guys see the quotes? Did you guys see the interview?
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
He said, we got to stop. He's like, I'm tired of getting out rebounded. I'm tired of it. Like, we play so hard defensively, and we can't get the rebound. And then they talked about Joel's third quarter. And Joel said is he the most dominant center since Shaq when he's healthy? Really easy yes for him to say, his teammate. And he goes, I mean, he could be. He can be, is what he said. And I think that it's very telling where he mentions the fact that they can't get rebounds when Joel's on the court. And then he also adds that, like, when they get the opportunity of, Joel was fantastic tonight or whatever, he didn't say that. He said, I mean, he can be. I think the whole narrative around Joel Embiid throughout his entire 76ers career will be what could have been.
I agree with that. I mean, we've talked about it on the show before. I mean, and listen, I mean, I don't think there's love lost between the two of them. I think they respect each other. I think they're teammates. But I mean, you know this from last year when the whole closed door thing happened. Like he stood up and called JoJo out in front of the entire team. Like it's not. I don't think he's afraid. Which is one of the things I love about him. I don't think he's afraid to be a leader. I don't think he's afraid to say, this is my team, or I'm the face of the franchise, which I love about the kid. And he does everything right. And we jokingly said it last week. Regardless, I don't even care if they win the title. If even they somehow win the title, you have to do everything in your power to get him off this team.
I agree.
And I've said it numerous times. 8 years ago, I would have killed somebody for Joel Embiid. I've mentioned the Toronto series before. Coming off the court and watching how much at that point I thought he cared and all of that, I love that guy. And that's just not who we have now. He's not the same player, both physically and I don't think mentally or emotionally he cares as much as he did back then.
But see, you know what the problem I had with that series that no one talks about? We all talk about the crying in the tunnel and how much he wanted to win game 7. But you know what no one talks about? Game 4.
Yeah.
And game 4 was the Chick-fil-A game. And a lot of people don't know what that is. And guys, if you're in the chat right now listening, or Katra, I don't know how much you remember this, but game 4 was the game where he had a stomach, where he had basically diarrhea because his stomach wasn't feeling good because he ate too many Chick-fil-A milkshakes. It was the most. I'm not kidding, bro.
I remember him having the stomach bug. I didn't realize it was
because he ate too much Chick-fil-A before the game.
He should have told somebody.
I've never seen anything like that. How bad do you want to win? That was the year he was drinking 5 to 6 Shirley Temples a day.
It's just it's changed, and it's I don't want to say it's unfortunate, but he is one of the few where he got the benefit of the doubt for so long and still brings things on himself. And now I think between Maxey and then Edgecombe being the surprise that he has been, I agree with Gene. I think a lot of the sentiment, especially in this city, has really changed around JoJo and really swung back. if you see any Sixers fan in this city, you won't find anybody to say a bad word about Tyrese Maxey. Not one. Like you'd have to go look for a long time to find somebody to say a negative word about Tyrese Maxey.
You're right.
It's kind of wild because I do think this playoff is symbolic of what Joel Embiid always kind of is in the playoffs, like just his availability being in question here, and kind of sucks because he's a guy who, like you both mentioned, at this point doesn't get the benefit of the doubt anymore. But like having your appendix essentially rupture and needing to get it removed, like that's just such a awful luck timing kind of thing there, and then to miss the first 3 games of the playoffs with it. And it's not like it's one of those things where it's like a pain tolerance thing and you could just play through it, but like he actually would have had to get clear to go out and play because of the activity with that and making sure things aren't moving around and all that stuff there. So again, he's not a guy who's earned the benefit of the doubt, but like this is just going to be another blip on his what could have been rap sheet there. And it's one of those things where this is actually one time where it's not like he mismanaged something, but this was actually fully out of his control there. But we won't care about that moving forward because it's like, well, I mean, yeah, that happened that one time, but what about the other 6 years when he wasn't available because of, for whatever
You're not
reason?
wrong.
Well, there's that. And I mean, who knows what the hell he ate right before his appendix burst too. So I'm going to take the odds that he wasn't eating a salad and salmon. Yeah.
No,
probably some fucking Shake Shack in there and something else too. So,
all right, guys, let's move forward. Let's get into the Kentucky Derby, baby.
Horsies.
I was gonna ask real quick here before we move off.
Yeah.
Do the Magic close out the Pistons tonight, and do the Lakers close out the Rockets tonight?
Yes. No. Yes.
I go no.
I go
Durant playing tonight?
No, he's out.
No, that's why I think Houston's going to win again.
Bro, he's such a pussy. I called that shit as soon as it happened.
What'd you say?
Bro, incoming Kevin Durant trade. Again, another trade request.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny, too, because as soon as it happened, like next day was like, he doesn't play another game for the Rockets. And I'm like, dude, like, I just can't think of another. Like when it's all like, and we're being honest, when it's all said and done, he's no worse than probably a top 20 player of all time that has been on that many teams and just created chaos and just been on teams that are just like, we have to get rid of him.
Well, let's not forget the whole burner account situation anyway. He was already skating on thin ice with his teammates when he was talking about Sengun and, that entire Houston Rockets team. Yeah, Jabari. He's talking about he said someone else who basically said it was like dumb as a bag of rocks. Like
Jabari.
Was that Jabari? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was already on thin ice there, and then now that they're actually playing better when he's not playing, I mean, writing is on the wall for him. I mean, you already know Kevin Durant's about to go run another team.
By the way, just want to point something out. What was the big change from game 3 to 4?
Kevin Durant didn't play.
And who started for him?
Reed Shepherd.
Was it Reed? I don't know.
Reed Shepherd started for them. He had 17 points, 3 steals, and Amen Thompson had a much better game because he didn't have to be the primary ball handler.
He did. Yeah, he definitely played a lot better. Lakers also stunk it up, but I think a lot of that was they couldn't keep up with the pressure that Houston was putting on them. Like Houston was playing in such a rhythm where if you're going 5-6 possessions without scoring, like that game got away from them very fast. And Reed definitely did his part in that one for sure.
Yeah, this is right. And everything is correct that Jory's saying in the chat. Kevin Durant is just an awful person. Terrible person. I find someone that likes him. Do you like him?
No.
Yeah, I know it does. I think his mom likes him after the MVP speech, but
for a while though,
I want you to think about
that's even crazy too, because like you look at like where he was when that happened, and like
I thought he was a misunderstood guy for up until the end of his Brooklyn stint. I thought he was a misunderstood person. Like I didn't love him making the move to go to the Warriors, but it was one of those things where if he felt like he had to go learn how to win, I was never going to fully be on board with it. But he went over there. He didn't just ride their coattails. I mean, he got 2 Finals MVPs while he was there. Again, I don't say that that's a good move
whose
for him.
team was it?
It was Steph's team. It was without a doubt Steph's team. But I'm saying like that aspect of it, him becoming the villain from that, I'm like, all right, like obviously I don't like that he went and made that move and people are gonna hate him and stuff like that. But then he went over to Brooklyn and was with Kyrie and James Harden and all that. And I thought that they're one toe away from knocking out the eventual.
No, they're one toe away from getting to Game 7.
Was that I thought that was Game 7.
Was it?
I don't think it was
Game 7. I thought
you're right.
It
was Game 7. He's right. It was Game 7.
We watched that game in the bar.
Yeah, he's right. It's Game 7 though.
Like that's how, and I'm like, all right, like, and he's by himself at this point. Like Kyrie was out, James Harden wasn't playing, so I'm like, all right, like this is Kevin's time to really figure it out. And then Brooklyn just blew it all up, and he went over to the next team, went over to the Suns, who coming off of a finals run, and they absolutely stunk again after he got there. Then he goes to Houston, and now they are absolutely imploding and then playing better when he's not on the court. So you just can't give him the benefit of the doubt anymore. I know a lot of people wrote him off a long time ago, but I'm just saying, like, there was a while where I was like, all right, I don't necessarily like this guy, but I don't think he's off.
I just think it's funny. You look back at it like 5 years ago now, though, and it's like nobody nobody thought Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie wasn't going to work out, and it's like, nah, like that's funny to me. But
bro, if you look at his career arc, he was a guy that was lovable. We all felt bad for him because we thought Russ was the problem in Oklahoma City. Then he turned his back on Russ and went to Golden State, and people were saying he was the best player in the league, better than LeBron James. He won 2 finals on Steph Curry's team because he had the best cast around him. He had Steph, who was one of the most unselfish superstars of all time. Klay Thompson, one of the most unselfish superstars of all time. Draymond, the guy that will do anything to win. I don't care if it's points, rebounds, steals, nut kicks, like whatever he's got to do. And he had such an issue, and he was acting like a jerk. And Draymond told him what time it was. And the Warriors organization kissed Kevin Durant's ass. They suspended Draymond for the conversation. Like, it was insane. And he goes, I'm going to go to Brooklyn. And even part of me was like, all right, man, he's going to go there to try to win on his own and build his own team. Is it not Steph's team? I'm like, all right. He brings Kyrie. And as soon as things got tough in Brooklyn, my 2 teams I want to go to are the Heat and the Suns, who happen to be the 2 1 seeds. Then he went over to Suns, and the Suns got worse. And there was problems with Devin Booker, and there was problems with A, B, and C. And he's like, get traded again. He goes to the Rockets, who were the 2 seed last year. And then there's problems there. Now Ime Udoka can't coach basketball. I keep reading Ime Udoka can't coach basketball. Okay, maybe. I doubt it. It's a KD thing. It's always been a KD thing. He stops the ball. He's not a great defender. He's an awful teammate. He's an incredible scorer. It is what it is.
Pretty much sums it up.
It does sum it up. And the crazy thing is that he is a player. If you could just cut out all of the extra stuff, just him from a basketball standpoint, he is 100% a player that can move the needle in terms of winning a championship.
Absolutely.
But
that's what I mean.
You just have all the extra baggage with it. Like, I look at the turmoil now, like Kevin Durant if Kevin Durant was a normal person and was playing for, like, let's say the Pistons right now, I'd be like, oh, the Pistons are coming out of the East. Like, they can go make the move for a disgruntled superstar in Houston. go get KD even at this age, like they're going to be in great shape. But I wouldn't touch KD with a 10-foot pole if I had a young core who all loved playing together, who played hard, who played defense, who were unselfish. Like you just can't do that. And obviously, you're seeing it kind of unravel here in Houston. And of course, KD is a part of that problem there. Them not having a point guard is another huge part of the problem. But you just kind of see how fast it unravels there. Because I mean, who knows the conversation that those guys are having in the locker room now? Behind Kevin Durant's back, because they're like, oh well, if I say this around him, like he's just going to go on his burner account and just start talking about me, or I can't go ask him this because he's not a vet that I can trust because he's just going to go and run his mouth there. So it's just wild that he's become this.
That's what it is, bro. He's just that guy. And like, honestly, man, when it goes down in history, and I don't mean, look, dude, don't take this the wrong way. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I don't think Steph's a better defender than him. I don't think Steph's a better scorer than him throughout his career. But Steph's a better person than him. Steph's a better teammate than him. Like, dude, I don't know one point in Steph's career where he's 100% the better player than Kevin Durant. But he'll go down as the better player of all time.
I was going to say, I don't think there'll ever be an all-time list where Durant's in front of Steph.
That's my point.
Yeah.
But I don't, like, what does outside shoot the three ball, which is the greatest of all time of doing it. And Durant's very good at that too. But, like, if you went fully scoring, who's the better scorer of all time? It's Durant. Who's the better rebounder? It's Durant. Who's the better, like, defender? It's Durant because of his length. Durant does everything on the basketball court better than Steph Curry, like from a full standpoint.
I think Steph's better passer.
Well, yeah, Steph's better passer, you're right.
And I think the other thing that would go in Steph's favor is you could make an argument Steph really kind of revolutionized the game a little bit too. Steph changed the way a whole generation of basketball players look at basketball and the way they play. For better or worse, I know there's plenty of people on the other side of it, but I don't think anybody's ever going to say that about Kevin Durant.
No, not at all. All right, guys, let's get into horsies. I have a what's that, superfecta?
Where you have top four.
Yeah, I got it.
Same.
Right, you got to give the lead up though.
In
196 Kentucky Derby.
Here we have horns. We have no horns. No horns.
No horns. You should have told me. I'd have had the horns ready.
Production sucks in this show.
152nd run of the Kentucky Derby.
It is 152nd. Gene's been looking. Churchill Downs, Louisville, Kentucky, home of horse racing. Good forecast for Saturday. Low 60s, no moisture, optimum running conditioning for these 3-year-old thoroughbreds. It's going to be 1.25 miles or 10 furlongs for you aficionados. And it's the shortest of the 3 Triple Crown. So favors what they call tactical speed horse that can get out there, keep the pace, and then take off. Not ideal for the closers because they usually run out of time, but see how it breaks. Derby's always the wild card because there's 20 horses. There's good horses that get caught in the back. There's just so much congestion. Weird things happen in the Derby. That's why you always see big payouts for trifectas and superfectas, like Gene said, because you'll have some crazy horse with 3 legs hit the freaking board at the end at like 50-1. Always makes it fun. But I don't know who wants to go first. Morning line favorite is Renegade. He's 4-1. Got one of the best speed figures in the race, but he drew the dreaded 1 post, which nobody's won from in like 60 freaking years.
Yeah, it's right there.
And then 17, 6 speed. 17, I think, is still the only post I think that hasn't won. So it's those 2 horses are kind of up against it. Renegade will be interesting depending on where the jockey puts his horse. And if he gets caught on the rail or if he can get out in the pack and be ready to go, because Renegade is probably the fastest closer in the field. He gets a clean run at the end, it might be lights out for everybody. But I'm not going to give away too much here. We'll really go through their picks first, and then we can talk about horses and long shots and all the fun stuff.
Control, give me yours.
Yeah, so I don't have my full superfecta yet. We haven't perfected it yet. but I'm not rolling with Renegade here. My first instinct is always to go off of best names. And so with that said, I'm rolling with So Happy to take care of it all. Got the 8 post there, 15-1. I always go best name, but I have not completed my full superfecta yet, but gotta see who's been running well there. Renegade's obviously the favorite there, but like you guys mentioned, with him being in that one post there, I don't see it happening there. I don't see it happening.
I'll go through mine, and I'm going to do it 4 through 1 so you guys can hear it kind of through my eyes, right? So number 4 I have, and this is a fun one. He's emerging as the emerging market. Number 15 horse, emerging market would be my 4 horse on my superfecta. My number 3 is Phil Black. I mean, the Puma at number 9. I have him number 3. Number 2, from the 1 spot, I have Renegade.
Uh-oh.
But the truth is this. Recently, I've been on a run of being very, very happy. So I'm going to go with So Happy at number 8.
Oh, shit.
Because I am so happy right now with things that are happening in life. So I'm going to go with So Happy winning the race, Renegade 2, Puma 3, and Emerging Market 4.
All right. Well, me and Gene share 2 horses, so that's fun. I'm going to start number 4 as well. I'm going to go 30-1. And I'm going to go with Golden Tempo, not Golden Shower for all you perverts. I'm going to go Golden Tempo.
Who said you're a pervert if you like Golden Shower?
Golden Tempo raced against some of these top horses multiple times, has failed to hit the board yet. I think he comes in at number 4. Number 3 for me, same as Gene, the Fighting Phil Blacks, the Puma. Number 3, 10-1. Again, going up against Commandment and Renegade both times, twice, has not failed to hit the board there as well. Like him in the 3 spot. Number 2, I'm going to go Renegade. I kind of mentioned it earlier. Out of the 1 hole, nobody's won there in a long time. Between him and the horse that I'm picking to win, 2 fastest horses in the race. Again, so much depends on the run if you're coming off the rail, though. He gets caught up at all or can't find a hole to get out. He just gets stuck there. And with the Derby being the shortest one, I just don't know if he has enough time to run down the horse that I'm picking to win. Number 6, the 10 Commandments. I'm going with Commandment. Again, you go to the last 3 splits, which I learned is a super duper important stat, which I've learned in my research this year. Your splits over your final 3 furlongs. You want to be under 13 seconds, under 38 total. Only 2 horses in the race have done that in a grade 1 stakes. They are Commandment and they are Renegade. I think it comes down to those 2 down the stretch. And like I said, I think Commandment uses the lack of length left in the race to its advantage. And I just think Renegade can't quite run it down. So I'm going Commandment and Renegade, the Puma, and Golden Tempo.
Mike Smith is the LeBron James of horse racing. And he returned as the jockey for So Happy. So I think it's funny that Cottrell picked So Happy, but I know why I picked So Happy. Because I've been so damn happy recently.
I mean, there's no soup and sandwich to pick this year, so I gotta go with the next best name here.
It's going to be, it's always exciting. Most exciting 2 minutes of sports.
Speaking of So Happy, I'll be so happy if the Raptors beat the Cavs tonight. They're up 7.5.
Ooh.
Praying on my downfall. Okay.
Not praying on your downfall. You talked a lot of shit about the 76ers and about the Cavs, and we told you James Harden's a problem. And you didn't want to believe it.
James Harden has got 19 on 6 of 9 shooting right now. James Harden
don't win. Yes.
He is not the problem.
You are cursed.
You are cursed.
Could be.
Him and the Miz have been incredible, by the way.
Hilarious.
Still dude's bike.
All right, let's get you. Got to be kidding me, gentlemen.
Spaceship, very rich.
All right, so I mean, mine this week. We touched on it earlier. Thought about even not putting it in hot wire, but I'll just double down on it and I'll be quick. But Brendan Sorsby, I mean, the whole gambling scandal now that's going to ultimately ruin his college career here. A situation where, and I get it that he has a problem, and it's good that he is recognizing that and taking the steps to ultimately correct that there. Um, but I do think there's going to be consequences to your actions there, and it's just unfortunate that Texas Tech had. I don't care about them spending their money, but it's unfortunate that Texas Tech thought they were getting a guy who was going to come in and potentially lead them to a national championship caliber run there, because I'm sure they would have loved to have him last year instead of Baron Morton. But with that said, it's just a shame that he will most likely not get an opportunity to play out his senior year there. And he was a guy who I had some love for last year as well. I think he has a ton of talent, and I do think a new system would have done him justice. And getting to the bigger stage, he would have had a lot of opportunity to show how good of a player he was. So for me this week, Brendan Sorsby, not to pile on too much here, but for me this week.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
What do you think his FanDuel account looks like?
Well, I mean, based on his balls and strikes from Cincinnati Reds game, they said he was doing it like every inning at certain games that he was at.
I want to know what the number between the and next to the minus is. Like, and especially if he, how much of the NIL money has he blown through already?
I would say, because a lot of it started back in 2022. I feel like it's not. It's crazy, but I feel like it's not crazy. Maybe 25K.
Oh, I'll take the over.
Gene,
you're muted. Can't hear Gene. Can't hear you.
I don't know how that happened.
No.
I think it's all of it. And I think he went through all of it, if we're being completely. No, seriously, I don't think you check yourself into gambling rehab if you didn't hit rock bottom. That's like a thing, bro. I'm not like, you don't check yourself in gambling rehab when you have 135,000 in the account. It just doesn't happen.
I also think, though, that part of it is, and Gene, you said that, you didn't believe that, or it didn't seem like he was doing this to save face. But I do think that's the part of it, though. Like, I do think that if Cincinnati knew about this since 2025, and we're at this point now, and Texas Tech is like, we're doing whatever we can to get this guy some good PR and, make sure that he can play on the field there. If that means going into rehab now, like, let's do it. Like, and again, I'm not going to compare him to the whole Mike Vrabel situation, but Mike Vrabel said, yeah, you know what? I got to go to rehab. It's day 3 of the draft. I can't wait until Sunday. I got to go on Saturday. Well, my team's drafting guys, and, I don't want to be a distraction. I want to make sure I go, get my help. We talk about Tiger Woods as well. Like, how many times can you go to rehab to really get better there? Like, I do think part of it is a PR move, but I also do think that he wants to get better, especially because he is as young as he is and has so much, more life ahead of him, and especially a future potentially playing football.
Hopefully. I don't think he does, but hopefully. Shally, give me your you gotta be kidding me.
I'm gonna go with people giving Paige Becker's crap this week. That's what I'm going with.
Oh God, I'm on the other side of this, but go ahead.
Okay. She got asked the questions at the press conference, obviously, after they drafted her girlfriend, Azzi Fudd, and they're gonna be teammates now, and they made the relationship public back in 2025. It's not a secret to their girlfriend, whatever. Paige got a little, let's see, I don't know what the right word is. I think she got a little annoyed after she kept getting asked questions about how they were going to handle it. And she just politely kept saying, we're going to, that's my personal stuff, and that's going to stay between us. The reporters at the thing really didn't press it that much, and give her a bunch of shit. The next morning, though, you got Emmanuel H.O. and all those guys going off saying she owes people answers for this, and that because it's a unique situation. She doesn't owe anybody shit. It's her personal relationship with her girlfriend. If you want to ask questions and she wants to answer them, That's up to her. That's up to Fudd. That's totally their choice if they want to or not. If they want to keep their relationship private from the media, which they have every right to do, and just play basketball just because they're on the same team, I get there's a curiosity aspect of it because, again, they're on the same team. If something did go wrong, who the hell knows what will happen. But I guess we'll find out if it happens. But the lack of, not want to say it's more the entitlement of that the media thinks they deserve answers or they're entitled to them because it's a unique situation because they're lesbians. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. It's no different than asking any other athlete about their love life or whatever. If they say they don't want to talk about it, it's none of your fucking business. Just because they're lesbians doesn't change it. Just because they're on the same team doesn't change it. You can ask, and if they decide to answer, great. If not, you don't get to go on Fox or ESPN or wherever the next morning and rip them because you didn't get the answers you don't like. So this week for me, media in general, as always, being nosy when they shouldn't be.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
I'll play devil's advocate to what you're saying.
I think I'm on your side, Gene.
You said a minute ago that it's just like any other relationship. It's not. When you talk about other people's relationships, they're not teammates. They're not. And for Paige to get up there and have like a condescending attitude towards it the second time when she goes, this is the last time I'm addressing it. Like, we're professional. Like, well, your team drafted your girlfriend first overall when she was widely considered the third best player in the draft. I'm not saying that AZ Fudd, I just don't think she's the best fit for Dallas. And I think if we're being completely transparent, I think that there was definitely, it's not nepotism, but what is it called when, some favoritism of Paige wanting her girlfriend to be playing with her. So I think the media has every right to ask her about that situation and ask her about everything that's going on with her and AZ Fudd. It's not like any other relationship. Because if you look at the NBA and you're not talking about LeBron James having a relationship with Austin Reeves. Now, if you're talking about LeBron James and his relationship with his son, Bronny James, that gets talked about a million times more. I think Paige handled it the wrong way. And I understand that it shouldn't be that way, and I think it's somewhat unfair, but she makes that and invites that to be unfair when that Dallas team drafts AZ Fudd first overall. So if you want the teammate and the camaraderie, and they played together, if you want that, then you have to be willing to understand what's going to come with it.
I think my biggest issue, though, with it is not necessarily – I think Paige's attitude towards it was fine because of that was the second time that happened. The first time was when the day after the draft when AZ had her press conference and then the Dallas Wings PR person was like, hey, we're not going to answer any questions about them and Paige. Like, they stepped in before, AZ even had an opportunity to say anything. So I do think Paige was more so annoyed at that part of it too, because it's like, hey, like, we're both adults, like, we're both women here, like, we can speak up for ourselves, like, you don't need to stop questions from coming our way, like, we know what to say, like, we're coming from UConn, we've been teammates before, like, this isn't taboo kind of thing there, but I don't want to address these questions all season because at the end of the day, like, we're teammates, like, yes, we have our personal stuff going on, but we are teammates. I also think it's in the WNBA, it's not as weird as you kind of think. There are a lot of couples that play together on the same team, and whether they split up afterwards or one gets traded, things like that. Like, yeah, those conversations happen, but it's not like this abnormal thing for two women to be in a relationship to be on the same team. Because I mean, just think about what was it last year when Alyssa Smith and Dejanay Carrington, like, they were on the same exact team there. So it's not.
Yeah, but what happened with them?
I mean, Alyssa ultimately threw a fit, and she was causing her own issues, but they got her out of town there.
And that's my point, though, man. When things like that happen, the emotions run super high. It's not that isn't always going to work. And honestly, I think it would have been better off for both their career paths if they weren't on the same team.
See, I can't fully get behind that either because they won national championship together. So obviously something, and I know college is different than the pros.
As much as most people, college basketball and the W are two different things.
They are for sure. They definitely are. And I mean, we ultimately will see. I also think the only other person outside of AZ that they could have took there was Lauren Betts. You don't take Olivia Miles to run point next to Paige, who's running point. So I get the sentiment there, but you make your superstar happy there. If she feels like that's going to be a better fit to her game and obviously her personal life there, you do that. But I don't want to take too much time from you, Gene. I'm sure you got to be kidding me in the chamber. So
of course I do. Mine is the Pittsburgh Steelers draft room. And I don't look, no one likes to have egg on their face. No one. That's some serious egg on your face. All you have to do is wait until your pick. You can call your draft pick, call Makai Lemon up and say, welcome to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got ahead of themselves instead of seeing what was going on. And the reports out of this are insane. So apparently a Dallas Cowboys ex-staffer was texting one of his friends that was in the Cowboys war room saying they're taking Makai Lemon. That friend then told the Cowboys war room that Makai Lemon's going at 22. So the Cowboys then use that as leverage to get the Eagles to trade up to get Makai Lemon. Now, you're thinking to yourself, why in the world would the Cowboys help the Steelers or help the Eagles over the Steelers? Well, if you didn't know, Mike McCarthy left and took a ton of staffers from Dallas to Pittsburgh. There's definitely no love lost in that building between a lot of staffers that were plucked. So being as the fact that the Eagles defensive backs coach is now the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, it might not be as much hate as you think in that building. And the Dallas Cowboys then finessed, I don't say finessed the Eagles. I think it was a fair trade, but finessed the Steelers, who already called Makai Lemon when they were not on the clock. I think Howie Roseman knew you're going to get Makai Lemon, you might get an extra pick back. The Eagles are masters at the compensatory pick. So for me, and then all the Steelers talked about after they called Makai, we can't believe that, you heard the thing afterwards, right? We can't believe he was still there. We can't believe we got this guy. We got Max. We can't believe we got him. We didn't think he'd be there. Dog, you called Makai Lemon to tell him you were drafting him. Max was still there, bro. It's a crazy, crazy response. So for this week, the Steelers war room for jumping the gun.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
I got one. I got birthday shout out. Couple weeks shout out for our anniversary, but somebody's got a birthday coming up, another year older. On Saturday, Audia is celebrating her birthday on Saturday, so echo a lot of the same sentiments about the grace that I get, doing the show and all the other stuff like the real recognizes real and all that stuff. So definitely want to wish her a happy birthday and could not let the show pass without giving her a shout out there.
Appreciate your audio's back now. You missed most of the audio there. Shally.
I got nothing other than happy birthday to Audia, obviously. Hope you have a great day celebrating. And if you're betting on the horse race, I hope your picks win.
Love that. I have one. So happy birthday, Audia. Let's start there. And then second, a friend of mine just had a gender reveal this past Sunday. And I want to congratulate Jake Haber. Is going to have a baby girl. Just found out Sunday. So I just want to give him a shout out. I mean, he found out he's having a baby a while ago, but the gender reveal was Sunday. I want to shoot him a shout out and congratulate him. If you don't know, I do wire-to-wire breaks with Jake Haber. We do a lot of sports cards. So if you're in the sports cards, give us a follow on whatnot. But congrats, Jake. I'm happy for you, brother.
Congrats on the baby, Jake.
Did that hurt you to say?
No. He's having a baby. It's a beautiful thing. I'm happy for him.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in this week to Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I'm the NFL genius, Gene Walsnack. That's Kent State's own, Cleveland's own College Control, Uncle Shally, Scholastic Shally, Mr. William Shawcross, and we are signing